very, very pleasant good evening to everybody tuning into Islandish Podcast here on Superior Talk. I am your host, your girl Yams, your favorite side on the plate, and I am joined with the lovely Miss Phylicia Johnson. How are you, darling?
I'm great. How are you?
I am magnificent. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
She is guest number 5 here on the Islandish Podcast. So if you're tuning in on the live stream, make sure you click the link and subscribe to Superior Talks YouTube channel. We go live each and every Thursday right here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and then if you can't catch the full episode, we'll upload it tomorrow. But we're so happy to have you guys here with us, and we're going to dive into an amazing conversation with this powerful young woman here in Freeport, Grand Bahama. She is a mother, she is an author, and she is the founder of Girls Just Wanna Brunch.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to talk about your book first, and we have it right here for you guys to see. Her upcoming book, which is Release and Control My True Identity. Now, this is which book for you? Which book are you on?
This is number 1.
This is book number 1. This is your very first book.
This is my very first book.
And it is published.
It's published. It's out. It's on Amazon. I have a few copies in Freeport. I have some in Nassau. So it's out.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're definitely going to first off dive into your journey as an author. First things first, how did you decide that, hey, I need to write a book?
Well, I didn't decide. Mm-hmm. And anyone that knows me knows that I have a very close relationship with God. So
love it.
Being an author, that's purpose for me. Mm-hmm. It started as me journaling as a teenager. And I just heard the Holy Spirit say, start the journal. So I said, okay. And at this time, it was right before I found that I was pregnant with my daughter. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay. And as I continued writing, maybe a few months after I started journaling, then he said, author. I said, not me. I said, author. So it started there, and now we're here.
I love it. I love it. So where can you said already where this book can be purchased, and you said a lot of other things about the book, but what I definitely do want to know is how difficult was it when it came to the cover, the photo shoot, the publishing, all of that? Because I know a lot of persons think about writing and want to be authors, and they only go the Amazon route.
Yeah.
But you're going the hardcover, actual book in your hand route.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that journey and how you got through that phase of it all.
Because I like to read and I like to have things on hand. Mm-hmm. That was number 1 for me. And then once I see a vision, I have to execute it. And I think publishing, when it came to the photo shoot, the dressing part, because I love to dress up.
We love to dress up.
That was the hardest part for me, because I already knew what color I wanted the book. Mm-hmm. I already knew who I wanted to publish the book. So the dress took me about 3 months to find out what I was going to wear.
Okay.
And this book, actually, it took me over a span of 9 years to write this book.
Oh, wow.
So the hardest part about writing for me is getting started and then continuing in it, because this book for me was healing. So it was me revisiting things, that the pain and whatever it was that I went through. And sometimes I would have to stop, because I say, okay, this is too much. I'm going back to what it was that I dealt with. And I just stopped sometimes I would stop for about 2 months.
Okay.
Wouldn't write again. But because I knew that there was like a burning inside me that I just have to write. I just have to get it out.
Right.
So I couldn't even abandon it. And this is where we're at now.
Okay, so you talked about working through traumas and working through different things and revisiting certain things in your past.
Yes.
Would you say that writing is somewhat therapeutic?
It is.
And how so would you say that? Explain it a little bit for me.
Like I said, going through things, when we go through things, that's one experience itself. That's the trauma. But when you write and then you revisit things, and then I was able to analyze certain situations and say, well, hey, some things happened because I was the cause of it.
Right.
So being able to look at that and then read it and then having to reread it almost
right, because
like
editing and everything, right?
I was like, okay, if this happened, I don't want it to happen again. God, where is it now that I can move on, or how can I move on? Then this part too is just forgiveness. So learning to forgive was the biggest part, because I tell you, even when I read right before I published, it was still like some things that I was holding on to. I was like, okay, no. It doesn't make sense you putting this out there, and this was supposed to be healing for you.
Right.
So...
Johnson, like, I need to write a book.
Write a book, girl.
I'm holding on to some things
Go ahead
myself.
and write the book. But I knew for sure that writing, I had to reach some people, reach some young women, even males, reach mothers, because I've been through quite a bit of things in my young age. I've seen a lot of things. I know a lot of things. So why hold on to things that I know can help other people?
Right, the information.
And then God is good.
Amen. I love it. I love this new you. Like,
I
you
know,
glowing
right?
a little bit better. You're smiling all the time because you know you was Miss Resting upset woman face.
Stop
But
it.
now you just have this resting smile all
Yes.
the time. You're glowing. You're
That's
happy.
the God in me, girl.
I love it. I love to see it. So you mentioned your publisher. Do you have a publisher or a company?
I have a publisher, True Vying Marketing in Nassau.
Okay, so they helped you with...
They helped me with the editing, getting the book out there, getting it printed. I'm still waiting now. We are going to publish the Kindle version on Amazon.
Okay.
But they did everything for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Because I know, well, I personally know, especially a lot of people in the church area who want to publish or trying to figure out how do I get my book out there, and they complain sometimes that they can't find a publisher locally
Yeah.
in Freeport, Grand Bahama. So even you had to go to Nassau to find a publisher. What was that journey like, finding someone you were comfortable with in terms of publishing? Was it difficult?
It wasn't, because, like I said, everyone knows I am Holy Spirit led. So I said, God, if you want me to write a book, then you bring the person to me that
Right.
will come right in my lap that I need, that it'll need to publish this book for me. I said, because I don't want to have to go all the way through America,
Right.
and I'm not there, and then I can't really have a close relationship with those
Right.
persons. And it just so happened that her name is Phylicia. I said, well,
look at
God,
that.
if this isn't a sign, Dr. Phylicia Archer. And it was just amazing. Nassau's right there.
Yeah.
They pick up the phone, they call. It's a very easy, they make it easy. They make it easy.
Wonderful. So will this be, because you already said it took you 9 years to write this
9
book.
years.
Do you plan on publishing more books? Do you have more books that you're planning to release soon? What more can we look for from you as an author?
Well, I'm actually in the process of writing 2 books now.
Okay.
So they'll be out soon. I don't, no, I'm not going to tell you what they are.
Yeah, don't
But-
tell me. I don't want to know yet.
This only took me 9 years, because each time that I thought I was finished,
Right.
there was still something else. There was still more that I was holding on to. And then, the newest cherry on the top for my life now was that I met my biological father. I had already finished writing this book 2 years ago. I
Right.
was like, okay, I'm done. Sent it to the publisher. The Holy Spirit was like, you're not done. I was like, what else? Then that came. I was like, okay, now I know I could finish the book. And that was that.
What was that experience like, if you want to talk about it, meeting your biological dad?
Well, it was nerve-wracking,
Okay.
because, like I said, I kind of knew my whole life that the father that I grew up with wasn't my biological father. And I used to ask, and they were like, no, you're crazy. I was
Right.
like, okay, one day we'll see. And I fasted for 3 days. I said, God, if you're ready for me to meet my biological family, and this was after my father had passed, I said, if you're ready for me to meet my biological family, then you bring it to me. And usually when we fast, when we pray to God, we kind of expect things to happen maybe like a couple months later.
Right.
The day that my fast ended, the hour that my fast ended, I had calls coming in. You want to know who your father is? You want to know your family? This is the number. This is where they live. I was like, nah, God, this is the little
Yeah, it's
son.
a little quick.
And then I used to have dreams as well. 'Cause I'm
Okay.
a dreamer. So I used to have dreams, and I would just kind of see. I said, Lord, what are this man is you showing me? I said, I wonder if my father, I wonder if he's a Johnson. I wonder if he's
Right.
this. I wonder if he's that.
Those are rational questions.
Yeah, because I didn't even know that he lived on the same island as me.
Right.
And it was so crazy, because they said, you and your father used to be everywhere. The same place that you go, he would be right there. And when I asked him about it, I said, why didn't you come and speak to me? He said, because I saw you out one time ago. And he said, he waved his hand to me. And he said, I looked at him and I cut my eye. I said, I didn't see you. I said, God had to have had me blinded to you or whatever reason it was, because it wasn't time as yet. I said, but I've never seen you in my life.
Right.
Ever. The first time I ever saw my biological father was the day that I met him. In July 2024, in 2022.
Wow.
The first time.
That's powerful.
I know, right?
And that was something that helped you finish the book?
Finish the book,
Experiencing that?
yes. And that was closure for me, and that was a new chapter, because people look at me finding my biological father as some say a slap in the face, some say, trying to make people upset. But I understand spiritual things, and I know that in order for me to move on in certain areas in my life, I have to know where I come from.
Right.
I have to know
Big
where
facts.
where I began, because there were some things that I was fighting, and I just couldn't figure out what it was that I was fighting.
Right.
Like, stuff would happen, and I'd be like, okay, God, I prayed, I stopped doing this, but the same thing was happening over and over and over again. I said, okay, it's something, it has to be something. And I had actually forgotten for a while that I knew that I had another father out there. I had forgotten about it. So only until after, I was done with the burial of my stepfather and all of that, and I was like, okay, God, we have something to do.
Right.
And then that was that.
That's powerful, and that's really something impactful to say, because sometimes people can get offended or feel like you're going through a certain journey, especially a spiritual journey, is against them. But you had to do that for you.
Yes.
And that was something that really helped you a lot.
Yep.
So do you talk about that in your book as well?
Yes, it is. It's there. It's the last chapters in the book. And what's so crazy to me, when I was going to meet him, because I met my grandmother and my aunt first, and I had planned to meet him like a couple days later, because I said, this is kind of a lot. Like, hold on now.
Do it peace.
Didn't know that they had already picked up the phone and called him and say, hey, your daughter finally came home. She's looking for you. And they gave him the phone. And it's like, this your daddy? I said, huh? I say, hi, daddy. And it came out so effortlessly. I said, what the heck? He said, hi. He said, anyway, I'm to work. I got to call you back. He wasn't to work. He was off. That must he took his nerve.
Right.
So he said, come meet me.
Because he thought they probably was joking or
something. He
something.
said, come meet me at this place. So I was sitting in the car before I went inside. And I said, God, I wonder if I can know this man look, if I can recognize him. I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. I was just numb because I look exactly like the man. I said, Jesus, there's someone else that looked like me. I thought I was the only fine person in the world. I thought it made me look this good. And I said, I tell him all the time, if you were a woman, you would be a beautiful woman.
That's right. That's where you get it from. I love it. That's really powerful that you said that, because even for me, I know how important my dad is in my life and the role he played. And even if I didn't meet him or I wasn't raised by him, I know I'd want to know who that is, because you talked about knowing where you come from and just that closure you get from resolving all of that. So I'm very happy you got to go through that, especially before he passed away, because then people pass away and you have unfinished business like that.
No, he's not the one that passed away.
I know. I'm saying I'm happy that you were able to meet him before something like that happened.
And shall I ask God? I said, God, I just met the man. Let him live a long time to make up for the years that went by, because 26 years is a lot.
Yeah, it's a long time to not know and not meet someone, and then to be seeing them at events or them seeing you and that awkwardness in between. But I'm happy that you mentioned, because what you said at first was him seeing you and them saying that, y'all probably was at events all the time. It's all about the right timing.
Yep.
And God is an on-time God.
Yep.
So he always does things when it's the right time. Yes. Probably at a younger age, you probably wasn't ready to receive that.
Yeah.
Or probably you weren't in the right mind space, you were in the right spiritual space.
Yes.
To receive that at that time. So we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Girls Just Want to Brunch.
Yes, we
and
are.
how that got started. So, commercial break.
Hi everybody, I'm Jason.
And I'm Cheryl. Join us here on Superior Talk Bahamas YouTube channel every Tuesday at 6 for Let's Talk,
where we talk about issues that matter to you. We try to come up with workable, practical solutions so we have more action and less talk.
See you on Tuesday.
We are back to Islandish Podcast. We are here with the beautiful Miss Johnson, and she's talking all about her new book, Release and Control, My True Identity. But now we're going to shift gears a little bit because you wear another hat.
Yes.
You are the founder of Girls Just Want a Brunch.
Yep.
And you have another one coming up very, very soon. And you're saying it's not just a brunch. So I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to let you talk more about it.
Yeah, this one this year is going to be a bit different than what it was the previous years. I didn't do it for the last 2 years because God really He sat me down because I had to shift because, you know, I'm now sold out for God now.
Love that.
And before, you know, I had people or speakers coming and be talking about God, but I still had it mixed with, you know, secular music. Then there was the alcohol.
Right.
And, you know, a friend of the world to the world is an enemy to God. And for me, because everyone's journey is different.
Right.
The grace for that has run out when it comes to me and that kind of event. So this one is solely going to be about self-development, no distractions, no food. I mean, the vendors are going to have food, but it's not going to be like a brunch setup. It's going to be like a seminar.
Right.
So those who are serious about developing self or bettering themselves, and especially through God, this one is for you. Men, you are invited.
Okay, good.
So, men, bring your wives. Girls, bring your boyfriends, your brothers.
Intended.
Yeah, bring everyone. It's for everyone.
I love it. I love it. So I know you are having it coming up, and the title or the theme of it is The Woman Within.
The Woman Within.
So talk a little bit more about that theme and who some of the speakers are going to be.
The Woman Within. The first Girls Just Want a Brunch I had, I think it was the woman of substance. And I'm big on women empowerment. So when I started this, God was like, you're going to do brunches or women conferences? I was like, okay, I'm perfect for the job, you know. I only had 2 boyfriends in my life at that time.
Right.
I said, I'm perfect. He said, oh, no, ma'am. I'm going to have to allow you to go through some things so that you can relate to other people, because you can't be perfect and then try to go out there and then relate to others, because who's going to listen to you?
Right.
So I went through some things. I went through some things.
We all
was there in the book. And child, I said, God, you chose me. You chose me to do a job like this. I said, but challenge accepted. But this one, The Woman Within, I've been on my journey now, my spiritual journey. For the past, I always knew God, but for the past 2 years, I've gotten deeper and deeper. And this one, God was really cultivating me and, you know, building me up to be who He'd called me to be. And of course, that'll be in ministry and helping women and building self-esteem, operating in purpose, and letting go of things that is actually or can actually be very destructive in your life, whether that's friends, whether that's family, whether that's a job, whatever it is, you have to begin with the inside of you. And it cannot work without God. And you know, the trend now is soft life.
Yeah. Soft girl era.
Soft girl era. The soft girl era tied with the fast life. You know, I've been there with the fast life and did all of that. But if you really look at persons, and I'm not saying that traveling is not good and you doing all these things. Yes, we want to do all those things. But if you really look at the persons that are just going, always traveling, always partying, but no fruit, if you really look at them and you really sit down with them, they're not happy with themselves.
Right.
They're actually looking or out there going after something that's actually not there. Because what you're really trying to fill is that void within yourself that you cannot, because you don't know who you are. You don't know where you're going. So you're going to keep going and moving until you crash.
I love that you said that, because there's someone probably watching or listening who that actually can touch. Because a lot of times, I even know, and I've learned that you can't judge people from social media and what you see. You can see someone who's traveling all the time, going to great events, doing great things, and it looks like they're so fulfilled. And they're like, but I won't be like that. Let me try doing these things. And like, you don't know what that person is wrestling with within. You don't know what they're actually searching for, like you said. And having that inner peace, that peace with God, that peace with your life, and able to do things that, like you said, brings forth fruit. That's something that child traveling and partying, that can't.
It can't. And I tell you, I've been there. And when I used to go, I was like, okay, I'm going. You know, my daughter's taken care of. But I'm going. And I already knew what it was that I was supposed to be doing. I already had a plan for my life, but I was just extra going with those extra stuff. And I said, you know what, I have to cut this out because at a certain age, I don't want to be doing the same thing that I was doing at 17. I don't want to be doing the same thing that I was doing at 24. And there was even an instant where I went out right here in Freeport, and this was right before I really got in to say, well, okay, God, it's me and you now because it isn't making any sense. Went to a bar, and the Holy Spirit was like, just look around. And as I looked around, and you know, this is not to judge or...
slight no one.
You know, but as I looked around, and I looked at all the women in the room, in the bar, even some males, everybody looked the same. Everybody was doing the same thing. They were the same faces that you always see. And you know, some of them much older. And I was like, God, I don't want that to be my life. Because me, I'm a person where once I set my mind to do something, I'm going after it. And once that is finished, then it's on to the next. Like even this book, sometimes I forget that I even wrote the book until I get a call and say, well, hey, this is so powerful. You're really touching me. I was like, huh? I said, oh yeah, because I'm already on to the next thing. And the thing with that is too, I don't look for the approval of people or people to clap for me, because once I do what God tells me to do, then it's, hey, it's on to the next, and God, let's go. Whatever else it is that you have for me to do, then we're going to do that.
I love that. So I love how you said that too, because it's not about, or I in this bar and I see people and I better than this people. Like, no, it's just a matter of, I just don't want this to be all that I'm doing.
I want more. You have to want more.
Right, want more for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong.
Right, and I've seen you on social media and on Facebook posting, like you said, talking about dreams you've had, things you see in visions and things of that nature. Do you feel apprehensive about putting your faith on display on social media, knowing that people, you know how people go? They can judge you from your past and hold on to things. What brought you or gave you the confidence to say, all right, I need to start putting this on Facebook. I need to start being more powerful? Because you have a big following, girl.
I do. And, you know, when it comes to me saying what thus says the Lord, I do it, post it, and then I go about my business. But at first, it was like, oh, my God, like, you really have me doing this, God? Because at first, I used to be, okay, you tell me this, I'll write it down. But even when that used to happen, I'd be like, okay, God, you gave me so much things. I see so much. I know so much. When is it going to be the time for me to release what it is? And then when the time came, I was like, oh, my God, this is a lot. This is a burden. But obedience is better than sacrifice. It's just being obedient, because sometimes I don't want to do it because, you know, there are many persons, like you said, that people will oppose what it is that God will tell you, well, hey, you're not true. You don't know what it is that you're saying. But I know God. I've seen God move in my life. I met my father because I fasted and God showed me that. If that isn't enough evidence, and there's so many other things that God did and God would show me, and I've seen it come to pass, then why not trust God? Why not go with God? Right.
Me say, if he could have used the donkey, he could use anybody. So I love what you're doing. I love the way you're going and how you're moving forward. And I especially love a lot of the things that you're doing that are woman-driven.
Yes.
Because I see you meet up with a lot of different women and you all discuss different things and you collaborate a lot. And so with that being said, let's talk more about the Girls Just Want a Brunch event, which is the Women Within Conference. How can persons attend? What's the date? And how can they purchase tickets?
The date is August 18th at the Grand Lucayan. Tickets will be available tomorrow. It's supposed to have been available from the other day. But tickets will be available tomorrow at Bahamas Snacks opposite Kelly's. So while you're there, buy some snacks.
Yes.
And then at Ash's Beauty Loft, that's downtown near the old Esquires.
Yes.
So once you're there as well, you can find an outfit there to go and come to the brunch.
Definitely. So this episode will be posted on the day they are being released. So that will be on August the 9th. Tickets will go on sale. So definitely get your tickets. It's like this is going to be a powerful, powerful event.
Very
so
powerful.
It's not just going to be about eating and having a good time. It's going to be about learning something, getting deeper in your faith, and also becoming the woman within.
The woman or the man within. Because it's for males as well. I have a male speaker, Minister Chris Adams, very powerful man of God. And Cutel DeVoe, and then I have myself.
Wonderful.
I know, right?
You stepping into so many different roles. I love that for you.
Girl.
I am happy, and the reason why I'm happy, I'm tired of having to be the one that talks too much. I want more Freeport girls to talk, start doing more hosting, speaking engagements, all of these different things. Because, like you said, all of us have different stories and have lived so many different lives. And the stories that we have to tell and the tribulations and things that we overcome, it could really connect with somebody and really help them get to that next level.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, and you said about being a mother, how do you balance being a mom and writing books and doing all these other things?
Well, my daughter keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, she has much energy as you.
She keeps me in check too. But she said, because aren't you supposed to be doing this and that? But she's very demanding because she likes what she likes, and she sees her mom as somebody that can do anything and everything. So when I'm doubting myself, then here she comes. Well, Mommy, you're such a great person, and I know that you could do this. So because she's watching me, then even when I want to give up, it's not an option.
Right.
I have to keep going because I have a little one looking up to me. And my biggest goal, or one of my biggest goals, is to be such an example or an influence to my daughter that she doesn't have to go outside of my home to look for an example, because that is how our children get trapped. That is how we lose them, because we are not being who we're supposed to be in the home, so they go elsewhere and look for that support.
Yeah, that role model. I'm happy that you mentioned that as well. So let's talk a little bit more about your journey in motherhood, because you are a single mother.
Yes.
So with single motherhood being so common and so prevalent, would that be something, would you have done it differently if you could have?
I would. I didn't even know that I was pregnant, girl. I didn't know that I was pregnant. I found it at 4 months, almost 4 months.
Right.
So,
was it difficult being a single mom at that age?
Yeah, it was. I got pregnant at, I think I found out at 17. Had her at 18, and I was turning 19 that March. So it was definitely difficult, especially when it came to the financial part, because I was a teenager, but I always knew how to nurture because I have a lot of sisters.
Yes.
So that part was easy for me. But when it came to balancing, okay, here I am now, I got to take care of me and I got to take care of someone else, because when I wanted to give up, I could just, if I don't want to do anything with my life, then I could just sit down.
Chill out.
But I needed my daughter. I needed her because that was the push. And God knew I needed her. That was the push to say, well, hey, you got to keep going. Because I've been through so much, because I talk about in my book, I talk about anxiety. I talk about battling severe depression to the point where I couldn't move. I couldn't get up some days. And thank God for the friends that I have, especially my friend Phylicia. And she would always know when I was going through something, she would come knock on my door. Get up. Let's go. I was like, oh, God, you sent this one here again. And
That's Hair Lab, Phylicia.
Yes.
Big ups to the Hair Lab.
The Lab by Phylicia. And sometimes the children are, well, all the time, children are a blessing.
Right.
Children are blessings. I needed her.
Right.
I needed her more than she needs me. I needed her. But to say that if I would do it again, no, I would wait until I'm married to have some more kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the financial side of it is extremely
That too,
difficult.
but not even that. We have a lot of women in society, single mothers. They're the man and the woman, but child, not me. I cannot do what a man could do. I cannot. I cannot. Even if he's there, I cannot. I don't know. I know we know a lot.
Right.
But the presence of a man is completely different. So I cannot play two roles. Even if the finances were there, I can't do it.
Right.
I would not even take that hat from a man to say, well, hey, I can do what you do, because I can't. I cannot.
I love that you mentioned that too. And did meeting your biological father and losing your stepdad play a role in you coming to that realization of how important the male role is in like child rearing and their presence in the home in general when it comes to having children?
Yes, it sure did. Like it was heavy. It was. I don't even know if we have enough time to talk
Girl, we always
about
have
that. But it was heavy. It was heavy, but I thank God for the things that I went through, the things that I didn't have when it came to relationships, whether it be with parents or even any kind of relationship, because every relationship that I went through, whether it was with parents, whether it was with people that I've dated, I took something out of that. I learned from
Right.
it. And the biggest thing or the biggest way to stop a cycle or to stop a bad thing from happening is to ask life or ask God, what is the lesson in this?
Right.
And
I love it. I love it. So we're going to take another commercial break, and then when we come back, me and Miss Johnson are going to talk more about women empowerment here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and how that needs to change, elevate, or if it's
Yes.
doing great.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat,
And I'm your boy Mix.
and we're representing Off the Bench, the #1 talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So
Yeah.
we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in to us every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m. Sharp.
The #1 talk show in the world.
In the world, Craig.
Okay, we're back with Islandish Podcast with the beautiful Miss Johnson, and we're talking all things author related, girl is brunch related, and now we're going to talk about women empowerment here in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Now, I can start this off hot. I want you to tell me your top 5 women in Grand Bahama, or in the Bahamas in general, that you look up to, or that you would say are doing good things when it comes to women empowerment.
this is hard.
Yes, I know. I like to hit them with the hard ones when we start
I
to
know,
wrap
right?
up.
Well, my mentor, because she was the first person that knew that I was writing a book, Miss Keldra Pinder.
Big
She's
ups to
the
Keldra.
author of The Water Has Come.
Yes. And she celebrated her birthday this week.
Yes, she did. Happy birthday.
Happy belated.
My next would be Mrs. Glennette Fowler.
Love Glennette
Yes.
Fowler. Powerful
She's amazing. You said 5?
Mm-hmm. You already have 2. So you have 3 more.
Oh, Lord, you put the pressure on me. It's not that there's not a lot of amazing
Yeah.
women. It's
Ain't
just,
these are in no particular order.
No. God could be one.
God could be one. God has no gender.
Okay,
He's there with us all. Want to put God as one?
We can put God as one. 'Cause
Okay.
This
to
is
save
hard.
you.
Who else? I nominate myself.
Okay.
I nominate myself. Who else? There's somebody else.
One.
We can come back to that.
We can come back to that. We can stick a pin in that, but she is definitely going to answer that question. And with that being said, when it comes to women empowerment, and it's a lot of events, a lot of women doing different things, not
Yeah.
just here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, but throughout the entire Bahamas when it comes to women empowerment. So what do you think are key things or key topics that we are sometimes afraid to talk about at women empowerment events?
The first I think would be, I think the relationship with ourselves. We like to touch on other topics, but we don't like to deal with self. We do not like to deal with self because I think too, we as women, we like to pretend. If I must be honest, we do pretend that we have it all together.
Big fox.
And I was just saying today to someone that I think sometimes we need to come out of the box of going to our friend, we have our girl groups, to say, well, hey, what do you think about this or that? Because women are very emotional. Sometimes we go off emotions and sometimes it's not right.
Right.
But if you really want to know the truth, they said ask children. We're not dealing with children now. But if you want to know the truth, go to a man and ask him. A level-headed man, you go and you ask him, what do you think about this? What do you think about me? What can I do better? And you'll have your answers.
It's very powerful that you said that, because sometimes I get some of my best advice from either my brother, my dad,
Yes.
or one of my male friends who are also in business. And like you said, they don't give you an emotional answer.
Logic.
They may give it to me a little too blunt, right? They ain't gonna give me it with kid gloves. But I know what they're saying is completely logical and something that sometimes a female wouldn't tell me because she's trying to spare my feelings.
Yes.
So I'm happy that you said
Not even
that.
spare your feelings. Sometimes they give us advice based on their trauma or what they would do. So it isn't even
good
always
point.
what's best for you. And we have this thing where, oh, man is so crazy. Man is stupid. We could get over a man. But I grew up being around a lot of men, a lot of uncles, and I've watched and I've observed men. Men are not crazy.
No.
Men are not stupid. Men are actually very strategic and
Yeah.
very calculated. If a man If you think a man is stupid, he's going based on the level of intelligence that you have. So if he
Right.
thinks that you're stupid, he's gonna play stupid with you.
Right. That's true. That's true. Men play chess.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times. They're not going to make a move in a direction that they don't feel like, oh, no, she ain't on that type of time. All right, I only can do
Oh,
this.
okay.
It's like, oh, okay, she doing all this. All right, I can do all of that too. So they move with you, and then they also move on without telling you they move on. So don't mind men.
And
They're
that's
not
the
slow.
power. That's my biggest thing that I've learned, and that has put me ahead of even where I used to be. Emotional intelligence.
Yes.
You want power? Learn to control your emotions.
Yes. That's a very powerful thing. So that's one of the things I would say we don't like to discuss at women empowerment events. Not only emotional intelligence, but also because we were talking about this earlier this week on another podcast, Let's Talk. It comes out on Tuesdays. You guys should check it out. We were talking about being virtuous women and how it's no longer popular or okay to be a woman who withholds herself.
Yes.
Like being a virgin,
I
saying
love
no,
that you say
all of
that.
that. Like, that's a conversation a lot of women, a lot of us, I'll say me personally, who have chosen to be in the world, we can look back and be like, you know what? I tell my little sister, chill out.
Yeah, chill out.
I tell her, no, child, you ain't missing nothing.
Me now, I'm a born again virgin.
That's right. Washed clean by the blood.
Yes, because if I could have, I would have waited.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't have had my daughter.
Right, there's that.
But now, you know, say God wipe my slate clean. And my husband come now, you have a virgin, what happened?
Right.
But else?
Yes, I love it. But I really believe that that's something like for real, seriously, we don't talk about a lot. And those deep conversations are some of the conversations I would like to see
Yes.
happen at a lot of brunches and events, and talking about waiting and talking about just, because I understand the trend right now. Soft girl ever, traveling, going out, being on the boat,
And you just destroyed on the inside. You're coming back home, you're crying.
Yeah.
And you're packing your bag to go again, but you are not fulfilled.
Unfulfilled, hungover after hungover. Like, I've been there, I lived that life. And even a lot of people now, they tell me that, oh, I don't even see you, you don't even go like that, because
Ain't nothing out there.
it ain't even just that. It's, I tired.
Yes, it's
I'm
tiring.
It's tiring going
I don't
out.
even see people older than me.
I don't know how.
How are you still doing the same thing?
I am
that you were doing?
tired. I've been out. I've been doing this for a little while. It's like it gets to a point where it's not that I don't want to go out and enjoy my friends, but I'm at the age where I would much rather enjoy sitting down, having dinner,
And you know why?
and us just talking.
Because you're okay with yourself.
That's it.
That's exactly what it is.
That's it.
Some people cannot sit with their own self. They don't like their own company, because if you sit with yourself long enough, yourself will tell you what's wrong with you. You will
Right.
see everything come up that's there.
And sometimes for some people, they don't want to hear that
They don't.
because they know when you're running from the truth, ignorance is bliss. So it's like you playing ignorant. You know, if I sit there for too long, no, I can't sit in this house by myself. I go
Always
crazy.
gotta be around
let's go out.
someone.
Let's go out. Let's go do something. No, sometimes you need to sit there with yourself
I love being
and wrestle with
myself.
yourself and calm yourself down before you end up crashing and burning. Because my mom used to tell me this when I was younger and I saw doing too much. She used to say that's how a lot of people lose their lives. You was home. You was laying in your bed.
Yep.
What yucking you out of your house when you didn't have no plans to go nowhere? Someone come pick up the phone call and say, oh, let's go. Da-da-da-da. You know you wasn't supposed to go nowhere. You know how much funerals of friends and family members
Yeah.
I've been to who said, like, boy, she was just home. Why is she going out? Or why he going out? He could have stayed right here with us. We tell him
Yeah.
don't leave. Wait till all us go. And it's like you said, that not wanting to just sit with yourself
Yep.
and address yourself.
And I started partying very late. I started partying maybe at 20 after I had my daughter. And for the short time that I've partied, I tell you, I've lived a very, very fast life. The fast life that we see these females living today
Right.
is kind of a, well, I wasn't no hoe.
Right, but they just boring
But
compared to back
listen,
then.
because child me, to see the difference is they post everything.
Yeah, that's it.
They
That's
post
exactly
everything.
it. It was
So
a lot of
ima-
things going on 5, 4, 8 years ago that...
But you know why they post too all the time as well? Because they need approval.
Right.
When I wanted to go, I went. And when it was time for me to stop, okay, Phylicia, you doing too much.
Right.
It's getting out of hand now.
Yes.
And you losing time because time is going.
Yes. And I'm happy that you mentioned the whole posting, because a study was done. It says that social media thing, it causes a drop of dopamine to hit your head, and it makes you have this euphoric feeling to know that, oh, people looking at me, oh, they like the way I look, oh, I getting clout, and you get addicted to that feeling rather than actually enjoying yourself and living in the moment. So trust me, my friends get mad at me all the time. It's like, oh, you look so good, you ain't take no picture. It's like, take a picture, girl.
Child, I'll take my
I want
pictures.
people to see me.
But you wouldn't see those posts. I'm famous for that. I could go somewhere. I could be in Dubai today, and you would not see those pictures until next year.
Exactly.
That's just. I'm just very private, and even for me, I think the biggest thing that I just love about myself is you don't know what to expect from me. You don't know what I'm doing now. You don't know what I did yesterday unless I want you to know. And you ain't gonna know that until the next day.
Yes, I know what that is. For me, I only use Alabama to post because I own the people's job and they paying me to post. But if it's me personally, like when me and my boyfriend go to dinner, or I'm hanging out with my parents or my friends, my good friends, take a billion pictures, never post them. This for me. This for me to look back at year or two and enjoy the moment and remember how much fun we had. But I ain't giving all of that to the world. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit more about women and their presence on social media. Do you think young girls are being taught the importance of having a proper image of themselves on social media?
Of course not.
No.
And, too, it starts in home. It really does start in home. But we like to, something? Let's scratch that. Because we like to blame the home. We love to say, well, my mom did this, my dad did this. So I have every right. That's generational. So I have every right to go behind them and do the same thing. No, you don't. So what you're saying that whatever your mom did to you or your dad did to you, then you shouldn't be mad about it. Right. You should be okay with it because you're doing the same thing. When is it that you're going to change and take acceptance or responsibility of that it's you now?
Right.
The ball is in your court. So it's you. And I think with the social media image, like I said, it's looking for attention. You don't love yourself enough. You don't know yourself enough to know that, hey, well, I don't need anyone to validate me. Right. Because I already have my self-worth. Right. Child, you can't come to me and tell me nothing. Because I know who I am.
Yes. I love that. So, and even with that, because I'm tying that back to some of the things you post on social media about your faith and everything like that. And even like with me, with the things I post, whether it's for work or events and things of that nature, I always try to remember that when I'm posting, I'm not just representing me. I'm not just representing my parents. But I'm representing a brand or an image and that personal branding. And I'm happy that the first thing you said when we started talking about this is at Women Empowerment events, we don't talk about the self.
Yes.
About yourself, how you want yourself to be represented, how you want yourself to be treated and respected, and just being comfortable with yourself as a woman. So my question to you would be, is that self-journey or the self-realization you came to something that this book helped you come to?
The book was the icing on the cake. Okay. But I'm a person that when I go through things, and I get tired of going through things, so I have to sit with it to see, well, hey, what is it now that I can do to be better and, to help me? Because I don't like to go back to cycles. And I used to run from a lot of things. I used to run. Things chase us forever. You say, this is chasing me, this problem, this bad relationship after the next. But if you stop running, it'll stop chasing you. Right. You got to stop running. Face it. Sit with it. The best thing I ever did was sit with the things that happened to me. Right. Sit with it. Deal with it. Forgive whoever did whatever to you. And the biggest person that you need to forgive is yourself, because we allow things to happen to us. We put ourselves in bad situations. We make bad decisions. We stay longer than we're supposed to stay, either in relationship, on the job, even in churches. We stay longer than we should stay in certain churches. Right. So it just comes full circle.
Yeah, definitely. And I had a saying that one of my mentors in college, she was the best woman ever. Big ups to her. She taught me a saying or a phrase, and it was... it would take responsibility of the monsters you create. And whether that monster is yourself, whether it's a situationship, like we like to call it, you have to take responsibility for creating that monster, because it takes two to build and create a monster. Even Frankenstein had the little short man helping him put the monster together. So a lot of times you have to remember that you contribute a lot to the situations that you go through. Now, I ain't saying that, it's 100% your fault. But sometimes you do have to sit down and be
Yeah.
like, all right, how I contributed to this situation. Because sometimes, just like you said, what you contribute ends up being a cycle.
Yeah.
And something that you continuously continue to do over time. So we're going to take our last commercial break, and then we come back. We're going to start the wrap up on this episode number 5. You asked and I delivered. Islandish is back. The podcast you guys have known to love, to like to call in, to like to interact with. We are officially back. For the ones that don't know me, this is your girl Yams. Hearing me on Mix 102.1 FM or your favorite TGF_Yams. With the 2 S's, we're back with Islandish right here on Superior Talk. So make sure you're following the page. We're going live this Thursday, 6 p.m. Don't miss it. Follow us. It's about to get lit. Okay, so we're here with the wrap up of episode number 5 with the beautiful Miss Johnson, and it has been an absolute pleasure
Amazing.
talking with you. I knew you was deep, but girl, I didn't know you was this deep.
You think I was deep today?
Yes, I gotta bring you
Sure.
back later on after, get to episode 20 something when you have the next book out.
Yeah.
Bring you
That
back
one
so we
is,
could.
that one is, ooh.
I know. And tell us a little bit more about some things that we can expect from you in the very near future. We know about the brunch coming up, The Woman Within. So what other things are you willing to give us a sneak peek of what is in store, what you have in the pipeline?
Well, I'll give you one. Because
Okay.
I don't like to speak on things until it's done.
Of course. Understandable.
But my very next project I'm going to be, I would say maybe about, hopefully in 3 months.
Okay.
It's a cookbook.
Wonderful.
You know, I'm a chef.
Yes.
And I've been cooking from I think I started cooking when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be my next little baby.
I love it.
But the book after that, I started writing that book actually maybe about 3 days ago.
Okay.
And I'm just about almost finished.
So you're going from taking 9 months to probably only taking a couple weeks with the next book.
Yeah, this one, some things had to happen
Right.
first in order for me to let that go.
Okay. And then afterwards it can just be...
Yeah.
I love it.
Gotta
I love it. So let's talk a little bit about your cooking before we
Yes.
wrap all of this up. I know once upon a time you did catering. Do you still do that?
I still do. I do private catering.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Listen. That's why when I hear you was doing a brunch for women, I was like, this woman thinks she's slick. She's smart, boy, because her cooking is beyond point. So her doing a brunch, it all
makes sense.
perfect sense. I love that. So in terms of collaborating, are there any persons in Freeport you would like to collaborate with in the future or have collaborated with in the past that which you would want to collaborate with again?
I love Sasha.
Love it.
I love me some Sasha. But when it comes to the women empowerment or any kind of event like that, I now have to be careful on who I collaborate with because I wouldn't say goal, my
Drive, purpose.
my path. I can't go into like secular things. I have to
Right.
keep it really faith-based. It doesn't have to always be churchy. But
Right.
there's some things that I just can't do anymore. So,
Yeah.
I
completely understand that because even like with me in hosting now,
Yeah.
there are certain hosting events I know I can't do.
Yeah,
no
no,
more.
we can't
Like
do it no more.
I can't do the wet and wild parties no more.
yeah,
I
and the
can't
image
do,
is bad for business.
Yeah, I
bad
can't
for
want to be
business.
doing corporate professional events.
Yeah, we gotta-
talking at these with my nice suit and then I all brawl out on the stage.
Broke out.
The two, like you say, the two can't
It
mix.
can't. You gotta make a decision.
Right. It confuses the
Choose.
brand. It confuses people. You have to pick a lane and stay in
Yeah.
it somewhat. So I'm happy that you said that. But I look forward to collaborating with you on
Yes,
some things in
girl.
the very near future. I am very happy that you decided to come because I
Yes.
saw you and I immediately said, girl,
Yes, and
You
I thought
need to-
I thought I did something wrong because what you say, girl. I said, what?
I said, I've been trying to reach you. I need you to come here on the podcast. He was like, oh, okay. He was like, that's it. Like, almost like, why you pulling scene over that? So
I was scared.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you
Yeah,
came.
this is amazing. We gotta do this again.
Yes, definitely a wonderful conversation. Thank you to all of our viewers who are watching. And we're definitely going to upload this tomorrow.
Yes.
So persons can drop their comments. But let them know again where they can purchase your book and also where they can purchase tickets for the brunch.
So the book is available on Amazon, I have a few copies there in Freeport as well. You can go to my Instagram or Facebook at Phylicia G Johnson. Just send me a DM. The Women Within Conference, you can go to Bahamas Snacks opposite Kelly's, and then Ashes Beauty Loft. You can go there as well to purchase tickets.
Love it, love it, love it. So you guys make sure to support the lovely Miss Johnson. She is doing amazing things. This book actually is mine,
It's
so I will
hers.
begin.
Signed. It's a sign.
Yeah, she gave me a signed copy. I know you're jealous. So I will definitely be diving into this and reading it, and I will also be talking about it on my radio show. So you guys make sure to tune in. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you for having me.
And definitely make sure you guys keep it locked to Islandish. Make sure you're following the page at Islandish242 and subscribing to the channel. Peace out.
Bye.